land, soil, water, natural vegetation, and wild resources. We'll see in small village in Tanzania, Africa, Mamba gets very early in the morning to fetch water. She has to walk a long way and returns after a few hours. She then helps her mother in the house and joins her brothers in taking care of their goats. All her family owns a piece of rocky land around their hut. Mamba's father can barely grow maize and beans on it after toiling hard. This is not enough to feed their family for the whole year. Second example here it is of Peters, who is living in the heart of the sheep rearing region, New Zealand, where his family runs a wool processing factory. Every day he returns from school. He watches his uncle taking care of their sheep. Their sheep yard is situated on a wide grassy plain with hills in distance. It is managed in a scientific way using latest technology. Peter family also grow vegetables through organic farming. Now we have seen two different regions of the world lead very different lives. The difference is due to the quality of land, soil, water, natural vegetation, animals, and the usage of technology. The availability of such resources is the main reason places differ from each other. Land different occupations are there in different region due to the land, type of soil, and water availability in those regions. It has been influenced the lifestyle of people there. Mamba and Peter, land. We are going to discuss about the land, which is a type of natural resource. It covers only about 30% of the total area of the Earth's surface, and all parts of this small percentage are not habitable. Do you know that 90% of the world population occupy only 30% of land area? The remaining 70% of the land is either sparsely populated. Here we see that some regions are thickly populated and some regions are thinly populated. Why? Because the undistribution of population in different parts of the world due to varied characteristics, that is special features of land and climate, the rugged topography. Topography means physical features like plains, coastal areas, hills, mountains. Second, steep slopes of the mountains, low-lying areas susceptible to water. So we have seen So we have seen desert areas are not thickly populated, they are sparsely populated. Plains and valleys, which are suitable for agriculture, are densely populated. Example, Ganga Brahmaputra plains. Plains and river valleys offer suitable land for agriculture, hence, they are densely populated. Third, we will see how the land is used for different purposes such as agriculture, forestry, mining, building houses, roads, and setting up of industries. This is commonly termed as land used. Can you list the different ways which Mamba and Peter's family use their land? The use of land is determined by physical factors such as topography, soil, climate, minerals, and availability of water. Human factors such as population and technology are also determined of land use pattern. Here we'll see in table 2.1 land use in selected countries in the form of percentage areas related classification of land on ownership, that is private land and community land. Private land is owned by individual where community land is owned by the community for common use like collection of fodder which is used for animals, fruits, nuts or medicinal herbs. These community lands are also called common property resources. Now just we see utility uses of land in the past and present. If you can collect some information by your family, by your neighbors, you will see the changes in the land in the past and present. People and their demands are ever growing with the availability of land, and land is limited. The quality of land also differ from place to place. People started encroaching the common land to build up commercial areas. As you see, cities they are expanding due to overpopulation. Houses, complexes in the urban areas, and result is in agriculture land in rural areas is decreasing. Today, the vast change in the land use pattern also reflects the cultural changes in our society. As we see, commercial areas, cities are, urban areas are growing, developing, and they are expanded up to the agricultural land of villages in rural areas. And ultimately, forest areas are declining. Result, we have seen land degradation, landslides, soil erosion, desertification. These are the major threats to the environment because of the expansion of agriculture and construction activities. We have seen all these changes in land use over time, past and present. Now we are going to see how we can conserve the land. As we have seen, with growing population and their overgrowing demand has led to a large scale destruction of forest cover and arable land. What arable means? Land used for cultivation, fit for cultivation, has created a fear of losing their natural resource. Therefore, the present rate of degradation of land must be checked. Number 1, afforestation. Number 2, land reclamation. 3, regulated use of chemical pesticides. 4th, fertilizers. 5th, checks on overgrazing areas are some common method used to conserve land resources. Now you will see here about landslides. Landslides are simply defined as the mass movement of rocks, debris, or earth down a slope. They often take place in conjunction with the earthquakes at the time of sudden crustal movements, floods, and volcanoes. A prolonged spell of rainfall can cause heavy landslides that can block the flow of river for quite some time. The formation of river blocks can cause havoc to the settlement downstream on its bursting in the hilly terrain. Landslides have been a major and widely spread natural disaster that often strike life and property and occupy a position of a major concern. Case study of landslide hit Panji village near Rekong Poi in Kinnaur district of Himachal Pradesh. Damaged a 200 meters stretch of old Hindustan Tibet road, National Highway number 22. This landslide was triggered by intense blasting at Panji village. Due to blasting, this weak zone of slope collapsed and caused intense damage to the road and nearby villages. The Panji village was completely vacated to avoid any possible loss of life. Mitigation mechanism. Advancement in scientific techniques has empowered us to understand what factor can cause landslides and how to manage them. Some broad mitigation techniques of landslides are as follows. Number 1, hazard mapping to locate areas prone to landslides. Hence, such areas can be avoided for building settlements. Second, construction of retention wall to stop land from slipping. Third, increase in the vegetation cover to arrest landslide. Fourth, the surface drainage control works the moment of landslide along with rainwater and spring flows. Soil, the thin layer of greenish substance covering the surface of earth is called soil. It is closely linked to land. Landform determines the type of soil, and soil is made up of organic matter, minerals, and weathered rocks found on the earth. This happens through the process of weathering. Now we will see the weathering. What is weathering? The breaking up of decay of exposed rocks by temperature changes, frost, action, plants and animals, human activity is called weathering. The right mix of minerals and organic matter makes the soil fertile. Here in the figure of here we know that it takes hundred of years to make just 1 centimeter of soil. Figure of soil profile we see topsoil with humus and vegetation, so subsoil with sand, silt and clay, weathered rock material, fourth parent rock. Factors of soil formation. The major factors for soil formation are the nature of parent and climatic factors. One factors are topography. Topography, as I said earlier, physical features, that is mountains, hills, plateau, coastal areas, plains. Role of organic material and time taken for composition of soil formation. All these differ from place to place. In diagram of factors affecting soil formation, we see determining parent rocks determining color, texture, chemical properties, mineral content, permeability. In climate, we see temperature, rainfall influence, rate of weathering, and humus. In relief, we see altitude. Altitude means height about sea level. Place which is having meters height in sea level. Altitude, that is related, the place related how much meters above sea level. Slope, determine accumulation of soil. Flora and fauna, microorganism affect the rate of humus formation. Time determines thickness of soil profile. Activity, you can do it to home on a sheet. You can collect different type of soil: alluvial soil, black red soil, laterite, desertic and mountain soil. Types of soil, and you can observe how they are different. Degradation of soil and conservation measures. Soil erosion and depletion are the major threats to the soil. Both human and natural factors can lead to the degradation of soil. Factors which lead to the soil degradation are: number 1, deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizer or pesticides for the more production of crops, rainwash, landslides and floods. Some methods of soil conservation are listed. Number 1, mulching. The bare ground between plants covered with a layer of organic matter like straw, it helps to retain soil moisture. Number 2, contour barriers. Stone, grass, soil are used to build barriers along contours. Trenches are made in front of the barriers to collect water. Number 3, rock dams. The rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. This prevents gullies and further soil loss, which is given here in diagram. Then fourth, terrace farming. Broad flat steps or terrace are made up on the steep slopes so that the flat surface are available to grow crops. They reduce surface runoff and soil erosion. This type of farming we see in mountainous and hilly regions. Fifth, intercropping. Different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times to protect soil from rainwash. Sixth, contour plowing. Plowing parallel to the contour of hill slopes to form a natural barrier for water to form down the slopes, which is given in figure 2.6. Seventh, shelter belts. In coastal areas and dry regions, rows of trees are planted to check the movement of winds to protect soil cover. Here we are going to perform activity. Take two trays A and B of the same size. Make 6 holes at end of these trays and then fill them with the same amount of soil. Leave the soil in a tray A bare while sow wheat or rice grains in tray B. When the grain in tray B has grown a few centimeters high, place both the trays in such a way that they are on slope. Pour 1 mug of water from the same height into each tray. Collect the muddy water that trickles down the holes of both trays in two separate containers and compare how much soil is washed out of each tray. This we can see about soil erosion, how soil is eroded. On next, we are going to see about water, how water is very important and renewable natural resource. 3/4 of Earth's surface is covered with water. It is therefore appropriately called the water planet. It was the primitive oceans that life began almost 3.5 billion years back. Even today, the ocean cover 2/3 of Earth's surface and support a rich variety of plant and animal life. The ocean water is, however, saline and not fit for the human consumption. Fresh water accounts for only about 2.7%. Nearly 70% of this occurs as ice sheets and glacier in Antarctica. Greenland and mountains regions, due to their location, they are inaccessible. Only 1% of fresh water is available and fit for human use. It is found as groundwater, as surface water in rivers, lakes, and as water vapor in the atmosphere. Do you know in 1975 the consumption of water for human use was 3,850 cubic kilometers a year? It soared to more than 6,000 cubic kilometers a year in the year 2000. Fresh water is therefore the most precious substance on earth. Water can neither be added nor subtracted from the earth. Its total volume remains constant. Its abundance only seems to vary because it is in the constant motion, cycling through the ocean, the air, the land, and back again through the process of evaporation, precipitation, and runoff. This all is called water cycle. Do you know a dripping tap wastes 1,200 liters of water every year? Uses of water. As we know, water is used for drinking and washing. Also, in the process of production, water is needed for agriculture, industries, generating electricity through reservoirs of dams. These are the other usages of water. Increasing population, rising demand for food and cash crops, increasing urbanization, and rising standard of living are the major factors leading to the shortages in the supply of fresh water, either due to drying up of water resources or water pollution. Drying up of water resources we see at the time of summer, and water pollution due to industries. Here we are going to see the activity. An average urban Indian uses about 150 liters liters of water every day. Use for different purposes like drinking, bathing, flushing, washing clothes, washing utensils, gardening. These are the usage of water. Liters per person per day is different. Do you know? Have you heard about a water market? Amreli city in Saurashtra region with a population of 1.25 lakh is completely dependent on purchasing of water from the nearby talukas. Not only this, in at the time of water scarcity, we see that the metropolitan cities people they purchase water from tankers, or the villages those who are facing the problem of water scarcity in those regions we see people are purchasing water. Problems of water availability. In summer, we find there is scarcity of water in many regions of the world as rainfalls vary from place to place. Most of the Africa, West Asia, Southeast Asia, parts of Western USA, Northwest Mexico, parts of South America, and entire Australia are facing shortages in fresh water supply. Countries located in climatic zones most susceptible to drought great face great problems of water scarcity. Water shortage may be a consequence of variation in seasonal or annual precipitation, or the scarcity is caused by the overexploitation and contamination of water resources. So, it is necessary to conserve water resources. Access to clean and adequate water source is a major problem facing the world today. Steps have to be taken to conserve the dwindling resource. Even though water is a renewable resource, its overuse and pollution make it unfit for use. Discharge and untreated or partially treated sewage, agricultural chemicals, and industrial effluents in water bodies are the major contaminants. They pollute water with nitrates, metals, and pesticides. Most of these chemicals are non biodegradable and reach human bodies through water. Water pollution can be controlled by treating these effluents suitably before releasing them in water bodies. Forests and other vegetation cover slow the surface runoff and replenish underground water. Water harvesting is another method to save rainwater is to save surface runoff. The canals used for irrigation field should be properly lined to minimize losses by the water seepage. Third, sprinklers effectively irrigate the areas by checking water losses through seepage and evaporation. Fourth, in dry regions with the high rates of evaporation, drip or trickle irrigation is very useful. The value of water resources can therefore be conserved by adopting these means of irrigation, especially in dry areas. Do you know rainwater harvesting is the process of collecting rainwater from rooftops and directing it to an appropriate location where it is stored for future use. On an average, one spell of rain for 2 hours is enough to save 8,000 liters of water. Natural vegetation and wildlife. Now we are going to discuss natural vegetation and wildlife. Some schools children were visiting an exhibition on handicrafts, products made by the hands. The articles in the exhibitions were collected from different parts of the country. Mona picked up a bag and exclaimed, "This is a beautiful handbag." "Yes, it is made from jute," the teacher said. "Do you see those baskets, lamps, shades, and chairs? Those are made up of canes and bamboos. In the eastern and northeastern humid regions of India, bamboo grows in plenty." Jessie was excited to see a silk scarf. She said, This is beautiful scarf." The teacher explained that silk is obtained from silkworms that are bred on mulberry trees. The children understood that plants provide us with many different products that we use in our day to day life. Natural vegetation and wildlife exist only in the narrow zone of contact between the lithosphere, that is land, hydrosphere, water bodies, oceans, and atmosphere, that is air cover. We combine call it in as a biosphere. In the biosphere, living beings are interrelated, interdependent on each other for their survival. This supporting life system is known as ecosystem. Vegetation and wildlife are valuable resources. Plants provide us with timber, give shelter to animals, produce oxygen we breathe, protect soil so essential for growing crops, act as a shelter belts in. Storage of underground water give us fruits, nuts, latex, turpentine, oil, gum, medicinal plants, and also the paper that is essential for our studies. There are innumerable uses of plants, and we can add some more. That is wildlife and wild uses of wildlife. This includes animals, birds, insects, as well as the aquatic life forms. They provide us milk, meat, hides, wools. Insects like bees provide us honey, help in pollination of flowers, and have an important role to play as a decomposer in the ecosystem. The birds feed on insects and act as a decomposer as well. Vulture, due to its ability to feed on dead livestock, is a scavenger and considered as a cleanser of the environment. So, animals, big or small, all are integral to maintain balance in the ecosystem. Do you know that vultures in the Indian subcontinent were dying of kidney failure shortly after squashing livestock treated with diclofenac, a painkiller that is similar to aspirin or ibuprofen? Efforts are on to ban the drug for livestock use and breed vultures in captivity. Now we are going to see about distribution of natural vegetation. How the growth of vegetation depends primarily on temperature and moisture. The major vegetation types of the world are grouped as number 1 forests, second grasslands, third scrubs and tundra in areas of heavy rainfall. Huge trees may thrive. The forests are thus associated with areas having abundant water supply, that is heavy rain. As the amount of moisture decreases, the size of trees and their density reduces. Short, stunted trees and grasses grow in the regions of moderate rainfall, forming the grasslands of the world. Thorny shrubs and scrubs grow in dry areas. Thorny shrubs and scrubs grow in dry areas of low rainfall. In such areas, plants have deep roots and leaves with thorny and waxy surface. Reduce Reduce loss of moisture through transpiration. Tundra vegetation of cold polar regions comprises of mosses and lichens. Now we are going to see about the different type of forest. Forests are broadly classified as evergreen and deciduous depending on when they shed their leaves. Number 1, evergreen forests do not shed their leaves simultaneously in any season of the year. Deciduous forests shed their leaves in a particular season to conserve loss of moisture through transpiration. Both type of forests are further classified as tropical, temperate based on their location in different latitudes. You have learned in detail about the various forest types, their distribution, and the associated animal life in the previous class. Today, there are many more people in the world than there were 2 centuries back. To feed the growing numbers, large areas of forest have been cleared to grow crops, that is for agriculture, Forest covers all over the world is vanishing rapidly due to the commercial use of forest. Example, timber. There is an urgent need to conserve these valuable resources. Conservation of natural resources, natural vegetation and wildlife. Changing of climate, human interference can cause the loss of natural habitats. For the plants and animals, many species have become vulnerable or endangered and some are on the verge of extinction. Deforestation, soil erosion, constructional activities, forest fires, tsunami and landslides are some of the human and natural factors which accelerate the process of extinction of these resources. One of the major concerns is the poaching, hunting of animals, which result in a sharp decline in the number of particular species. The animals are poached for collection and illegal trades of hides, skins, nails, teeth, horns as well as feather. Some of these animals are tiger, lion, elephant, deer, blackbuck, crocodile, rhinoceros, snow leopard, ostrich and peacock. This can be conserved by the increasing awareness. Now we are going to see, now we are seeing newspaper cuttings of forest fire. How forest started in California. Could it be avoided? Forest fire is a threat to the entire region of fauna and flora. It occurs mainly due to three reasons. Number one, natural fire due to lightning, etc. Number two, fire due to the heat generated in the litter due to carelessness of people. Third, fire purposely caused by the local inhabitants, mischief makers, miscreants, etc. Some control measures are: number one, prevention of fires through education. Two, prompt detection of fires through well coordinated network of observation points, efficient ground patrolling and communication network. To protect natural vegetation and wildlife, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves are made to protect our natural vegetation and wildlife. Conservation of creeks, lakes, and wetland is necessary to save the precious resource from the depletion. Now, what is national park? A national area designated to protect ecological integrity of one or more ecosystem for the present and the future generation. To keep the balance in the environment, the relative number of species is not disturbed. Human activities in several parts of the world have disturbed the natural habitats of species. Due to indiscriminate killings, several birds and animals have either become extinct or on the verge of extinction. Awareness program like social forestry, One Mahotsav should be encouraged at the regional level and community level. School children should be encouraged to bird watch and visit nature camps so that they appreciate the habitat of varied species. Many countries have passed rules against the trade as well as killing of birds and animals. In India, killing lion, tigers, deers, great Indian bustard and peacocks is illegal. Now, an international convention, CITES, has been established that lists several species of animals and birds in which trade is prohibited. Conservation of plants and animals is ethical duty of every citizen. We are going to see about biosphere reserves. Biosphere reserves, series of protected areas linked through a global network intended to demonstrate the relationship between conservation and development. Do you know CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, is an international agreement between government. It aims to ensure that international trade in specimen of wild animal and plants does not threaten their survival. Roughly 5,000 species of animals and 28,000 species of plants are protected. Bears, dolphins, cacti, corals, orchids, and allies are some examples.